Well, and I think I heard you were on a podcast with Bucky, and you said the job kind of found you, which was
Mhm.
really cool. Walk me through that and how that transpired.
Yeah, I had been in radio for a long time in various forms, and was before this working for what was then Sporting News Radio. I think they've gone through several name changes and iterations, but the company that I worked for got sold. The owner wanted to move up operations to Houston, and I didn't really want to move to Houston. I'm from California, wanted to stay out here, so I figured out a way to just sort of make it work. And a former coworker suggested I apply for jobs at the NFL, that they're always looking for people seasonally. So I literally went to like NFL.com/jobs or careers or whatever the link is for it. Applied for five or six things, most of which I was not qualified for, and kind of forgot about it. This was 2011, and the lockout was happening in the NFL. I applied for stuff. We didn't know if there was going to be a season. I sort of forgot about it. In the interim, I went on and I actually interviewed for a lot of things. I don't know if I've told you this part, but fun story. I was a finalist for the very first edition of the MLB Fan Cave that lasted for I think 3 seasons. I was a finalist. They flew me out to beautiful Piscataway, New Jersey, for the auditions there. I get home, find out like a week or two later that they actually chose some other people for it. Was kind of bummed about it, but then
Right.
not long after, I turn on ESPN. I see that the NFL lockout is over. I get a phone call from the guy who was the head of fantasy at that time and asked me if I wanted to have the job. Actually, I should back up, because I did interview. He called and asked if I wanted to interview, and I was like, "Does it pay?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Sure." So then the day the lockout ended, they called up and they offered me the gig. And, I started the first year as sort of a glorified copy editor. They would let me write an occasional blog post or two. I got, I think, one or two guest spots on the podcast at the time. But I was seasonal. I worked for 7 months out of the year. I think I started in August. They sent me off to the wilderness in March, and I had to kind of fend for myself for 5 months before I was able to come back. And that was my life for the first 2 seasons at the NFL. And now here I am, fortunate more than a decade later to still be there doing stuff.